Down an immediate reaction to Dricus Du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman. I'll go round by round. So, to start off, in round 1, DDP comes out looking really good with his boxing. He's using a lot of 1 and 2s. And I was very surprised that Usman did not really try to wrestle early in the round. He didn't really wrestle till later in the first round, in which he shot for a single leg and DDP sprawled on him and spun around to the back. And throughout the first round, DDP hit Usman very hard with a lot of crisp punches, and he rocked him a couple of times in the first round. And at first, I couldn't really tell if it was Usman being rocked or just that his knees were so bad he would get punched and jiggle around. But he was definitely rocked. I don't know how he didn't get knocked out. And this fight, Usman was somehow the most chinny fighter with the best chin, because he was getting rocked by everything, but somehow not knocked out. And then in round 2, DDP hurts Usman a lot of times in this round with a straight right hand stiff to the jaw of Usman. Hurts him bad throughout the round. He also hits him with a head kick, like I called it in this round, that rocked Usman so bad. I don't know how Usman didn't get knocked out, which DDP hit Usman with a couple head kicks in this fight where I'm like, it's kind of on DDP for also not finishing this fight, but he won, so it doesn't really matter. And then also in the second round, something that was very weird that I was like yelling at my TV screen about. DDP hits Usman with a combo. He hits him with a right hand, then comes back up with a left hook. And Usman complains about an eye poke. And it was just very weird. Let me find the eye poke that he complained about. Here we go. Let's see if I can show it off. Here we go. Here it is. I mean, look at that. That is not the eye, my friend. And also, that for it to be an eye poke and a finger kind of has to be extended. That's not the eye. That's just your big old dome head, man. Like, calling that an eye poke is insane. And it's kind of funny because in my prediction for the fight, I forgot to mention that we've kind of seen Usman do this before. Flop and fake fouls. He did this against Colby Covington, where Colby hit him with a very clean body kick, and Usman acted like it was a nut shot and took a breather. And I was going to make a joke that since we're in the OKC arena, Usman's probably going to flop. And he did here. It was either the third or fourth round where there was a questionable nut shot called. I thought it was the thigh, but then as they showed it more, it didn't look like the thigh as much. But also, Usman was being really weird. Like, throughout the fight, he'd be getting hit with shots and get wobbled, and then he'd look to the ref like ref, do something. And it's like, dude, he can't do anything. You're getting your ass whipped by DDP here, the real African, you know. So that was really weird in the second round. But again, rounds 1 and 2, both very clear DDP rounds. You know, round 3 is where things start to get a little interesting. I thought Kamaru came out a lot better in this round than he had in the previous 2. He didn't really get wobbled as much. You know, the strikes are a little bit closer. And one thing that Kamaru did that I thought was really good was he came out and started using a bunch of front kicks to the body, which were working really effectively, and I was worried we were going to gas out DDP because he started looking a little tired as the fight went on. But to be fair, DDP always does that. He's a little bit of a goofy guy. And the fourth round, was more of the same. Bunch of front kicks by Usman, pretty close in strikes, but the difference being DDP rocked Usman with a really bad head kick. I don't know how. For one, Kamaru took the shot and did not get knocked out, but also how DDP didn't follow up and finish him. Let me see if I can find that head kick in the 4th round. This would be it right here. You can see his reaction right here. You can see in his legs he does freaking the jelly legs in different directions. This one's doing the stank leg and this one's doing the stank leg, but both doing the stanky leg in different directions. So I don't know how DDP didn't finish him or how Kamaru didn't get knocked out, but that was pretty insane. And then round number 5. More kicks, more of the same by DDP, some jabs, less of the front kicks by Usman. DDP at one point does like a classic DDP move, winning a fight very easily, shoots a dumb takedown against one of the best defensive wrestlers we've ever seen in MMA, and gets sprawled on very badly. And Kamaru, after he's sprawled, almost starts looking for the grip for like a Darce, some sort of front headlock choke, but DDP kind of just stands up out of it, no problem. And at the end of the round, it seemed like Usman had hurt DDP to the body, and eventually DDP's on the fence, and Usman's kind of just throwing a crazy frenzy at him to end the round, and that's the fight. And then, obviously, DDP won it, unanimous decision. I think 249 46s, 150 45, which Usman thought was wild. They called the decision. He was like, "What?" And it's like, dude, you got whooped on the entire fight. What do you think's gonna happen? You clearly lost. But I guess he was just not happy about the 50-45, and it's like, okay, dude, you got beat either way. But so I got this fight prediction right, obviously. And what I was surprised by a lot is that DDP, he used kicks in this fight, but I thought it was pretty much going to be all kicks. I thought his punches were only going to be to set up the kicks. But his boxing looked very good in this fight. He's a little goofy. He's not going to be the most pretty style, but the 1s and 2s were really looking good, really rocking Usman a bunch. And then when the kicks did come in, they were also rocking Usman a bunch. Let me see if I can find an example of the clean boxing. There was one really nasty looking shot with the boxing. DDP landed on him. That's the head kick. Look at that. Sweat coming off the face. DDP's got a foot in the air. Not the best technique, but he got it done. The boxing looked very good. And another thing that I thought was a good choice in this fight was whenever Kamaru would get close at all, DDP would just throw a crazy hard knee. I have a picture of that too. It was crazy how hard DDP was throwing the knees. He was almost like his back would be over his butt, like he'd almost fall down after throwing a knee, which is just classic goofy DDP. But they were working well to the body, to the head, because as I said in my prediction, Usman just has a really bad tendency to dip his head with feints, and that's why he gets caught by head kicks, and he's getting caught badly by knees in this fight. Also, I don't think I have a picture of it, but I'll talk about DDP's defensive wrestling. Clearly, he worked on it a lot. He's been out for a year since the Chimaev fight. I bet all this guy's been doing is getting in that singlet and wrestling. Because his defensive wrestling looked very good. I don't think Kamaru even got a takedown. No. 0 out of 7, And Kamaru was shooting at pretty much only single legs, and DDP was just either, if Kamaru got kind of close on him, sprawling very hard, or he was also down blocking very well, which at one point in the fight, I laughed because DDP down blocked so hard he almost fell over himself. And another thing he was doing was if Kamaru would grab the single leg, he'd just limp leg out of it and easily get away from it. So that was very good defense. I'll be honest, I'm a little confused. I don't know why Kamaru Usman didn't go for double legs. That's where Chimaev had a lot of success, was shooting doubles and then chaining to the back and tripping DDP out. So I don't know why he only went for single legs, but DDP defended him very well. So yeah, I would just say all around this was a very good performance for DDP. Obviously the bigger guy against an older Kamaru, but Kamaru is still a very game opponent, and this is a good win. I don't know if DDP is going to get the title shot with Amavov in line, but one thing I do know is DDP has now beat Adesanya and Usman. He's beat 2 out of 3 of the African kings. So what does that make him if not the king of Africa, I believe? But, I don't know if anybody actually noticed this, but during the introductions, Joe Martinez stops when he says from, when he's announcing what country DDP is from. And you can't hear this because of the commentary talking over it. You have to have kind of a keen ear. But he goes to DDP and he goes, DDP, where are you from again? He goes, bro, I'm from Rhodesia, bro. And, he proved it. Real African champ out there. There's actually a couple moments in the clinch where Kamaru got underhooks and got close. And he'd be like, come on, DDP, let me win. And DDP would go, and Kamaru would go, okay, you're more African than me. So, and just let go and kind of back down after that. So, good job, DDP. Happy July 10th. And you guys are going to say, whoa, it's Juneteenth. But DDP didn't fight in June, baby. So, just July 10th now. But now, there's just a really interesting matchup on my mind. DDP now beat 2 out of 3 of the African kings. So, he's shown he dominates over Africa. And he's the African king. But there's one place he has yet to dominate over. The Hood. Let's see DDP versus Deshaun Strickland. The king of Africa versus the king of the Hood. Let's go. Like and subscribe if you want more.